Okay, so I'm out of town right now, and I was doing my makeup, and I was about to do my eyeshadow. And I do this every time I go out of town because I don't want to bring all my goods with me at the same time. And so I really just bring the bare minimum because my husband makes us pack all our stuff in the same bag to pack it in his car because it can't fit all the goods. And so I really have to cut down on everything that I use. And so with that, I don't really pack eyeshadow. And so here's what I do. Okay, this is something that, hey Paris, how you do, honey? This is something that you can do on a day-to-day, like for work or grocery store or gym or tan or laundry or any of that jazz. Or you could build the pigment up for a night out look, which is, oh my gosh, Michelle, hi! Guys, my stepmommy's watching. How cool. Okay, but so what we're gonna use is actually our powder bronzer. Oh, I'm gonna use this one by Too Faced. It's the Chocolate Soleil medium bronzer. Hey Taylor. And I go in between bronzers that I bring with me out of town. This just happens to be the guy that I brought today. And so here's our first star of the show. Our second star of the show, you're gonna need either 2 brushes or 1 brush. One that is, what I mean by that is 2 separate brushes or 1 brush that's dual-ended. And since I try to pack minimally when I'm going out of town, this is the one that I bring with me. So one that can pack eyeshadow, or this is called like a pencil brush. And then on the other side, I have a fluffy brush for blending or giving a light wash of color. And I'm gonna need both of these today. And if you try to do something like this, you're gonna need both kinds of brushes. And so first, I'm gonna take the fluffy side and swirl it in my bronzer and just put it right here in the crease and just build up a color to my liking. Something that I like about bronzers as eyeshadow is they're not super pigmented because you don't really want that on your face, and so they don't make them really pigmented like that. So it's hard to get too much at one time when you're doing your eyeshadow. My mom, I have my phone on the windowsill and she just walked out and is going like this. And I can like see her. I'm like, okay, you're awkward. Now everyone on Instagram, or not on Instagram, everyone on Facebook knows that you're weird now, so not my fault. So I'm just building up this color right here. Windshield wiper motions, and I bring it all the way into this area just because I like the way that looks. But then once I get here, I do circular motions, pushing the product outward just to blend it out, just like so. All right, I think that's pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Hey Summer, how you doing, honey? Same thing over here. I initially start the product right here because that's where I want it to be the most pigmented, and I run my brush back and forth, and then I start to blend it out with windshield wiper motions. Okay, so super awkward. I got these lashes done at the same time last week, and tell me that this one does not have like way more lashes. Awkward, I know. I kind of thought that, but then it was like pointed out to me by, who pointed it out? Someone, one of my friends. They were like, your eyelashes are like funky. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Oh, it was my mother-in-law. Okay, so just building this color up right here. Hey Sam, for those that are just coming on, we are not using eyeshadow today. We're actually doing an eye look with just our bronzer. This is for the ladies or guys who want to pack light. You don't want to bring an eyeshadow palette with you. This is where I am like every week. I don't want to bring my eyeshadow palettes because my husband makes us pack all our stuff in the same bag, and so I have to be real choosy on what I want to slam in there. So I don't pack an eyeshadow palette for the most part. If I want to do my eyeshadow, I just use my bronzer or my eyebrow eyeshadows that I use. But to make it super simple, I just wanted to use the bronzer today. Okay, so next, going back in with our bronzer, I'm going to flip the brush over and use this denser side. Pick the product up. And the reason you'll use 2 brushes or this 1 brush from mascara is because the two separate brushes give the eyeshadow a different look when you apply them. So the fluffy part is going to do a light wash of color, whereas if you switch over to the denser side or use the denser brush that you already have, it makes the shadow have more of a punch, almost more pigmented and just more dense. And so that's something that I would like to use right here on the lower lash line. You see just right away there's some more pigment right there, and it's just because of the brush. The eyeshadow's not doing any magic tricks. So I'm just going to put that right here on the outside of the lower lash line. Kind of drag it right there, because I don't know about you guys, but right here on my eyes is the first place my makeup wants to leave, the first place my eyeshadow wants to get watery, and so I try to just like build it up right there, hoping it can withstand the water that my eyes do. So we'll just do it right there. And also I'm going to pick it back up, and this time we're going to go back on the upper line and get right here at the base of the lashes, just because, honestly, who was just trying to call me right then? Like, I'm busy. One second, my thing dropped. Ugh. Okay, anywho, when you build depth right at the lash line, it just makes your eyelashes look more fuller. Even though we're not using a black shade, it still gives a similar effect. Hey, Candace! So we're just building up that shadow right here with the dense side of the brush, kind of blending it up into the lid. You see the difference that makes? Super cute. Gonna go back in for the other eye, building it right up on that lash line. And once again, since bronzers aren't super pigmented right off the bat, hey Lauren, you kind of have to just keep reapplying until you like the way that it looks. Lauren, I didn't know you were in my beauty group. How exciting! There we go. That rude person that just called me left a voicemail. I'm like, I might not even listen to it because you just try to jack me up when I'm trying to do my makeup. Okay, cool. So I'm going to switch back over to the fluffy side of the brush and just put a little color right there at the, what do you call this? Outer part of the lid, and blend it inward. Building up a little bit more depth in the crease than we started with. Just because, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like the more that I apply eyeshadow, the more that I'm like, okay, I need a little bit more. Oh, okay, maybe just a little bit more. I kind of get crazy. I did my sister's makeup yesterday, and she was going to go out to Austin, and so I wasn't holding back. Like, I was giving her some eyeshadow, okay? Like, definitely nighttime appropriate, and it was like 12 in the afternoon. It was great. But I was just like, okay, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then when we were done, she was like, okay, it's a little bit much. And so I had to tone it down a little bit. And just a tip for you guys, if you feel like you're going a little bit too ham with your eyeshadow and you're just like, okay, what now? Like, I've done too much. I don't know what to do. This is something that I did on her, and she really, really enjoyed it after that because it really softened up the look altogether. You can either get a very pale brown shade, almost like skin tone, and blend it around the perimeter of where your eyeshadow already is, the darker eyeshadow that's kind of scaring you, and it can really soften it up a lot. Or if you have your face powder, something that would match you like here, you can do the same thing, just blend it around the edges and even take it on top of the dark part that's kind of scaring you, and it will almost fix your mistakes, not mistakes, but fix what displeases you the most. And so that's what we did yesterday, and that's just a tip if you ever feel like you're going a little bit too ham. So I like where this is going. I keep just building up the pigment where I want it. And you probably wouldn't have to do this if you had an eyeshadow palette, but since we're trying to pack light, this is just what I choose to do, so I'm not even mad. If you'll notice, I don't really add any more pigment in the inner part of my eye. I just focus it mainly in the very lower crease and right here on the outer part. Because if I did have an eyeshadow palette, this is where I would be putting a darker eyeshadow. Hey, Cammie! Okay, so going back to the lower lash line, I'm swirling my blender side of the brush just right here on the lower lash line. just to give us a little more flush of a color since we have a lot going on the upper lid. I just want to even that out. Oh, guys, don't you just see what putting a little bit of eyeshadow on the lower lash line does? It really just intensifies the look altogether. And to me, it's just kind of sexy, and it really brings the eyes out. This is something that a lot of people are scared to do, but if you'll just try it, and go light-handed at first, because it can be scary your first couple times putting eyeshadow down here. But if you just practice and learn when too much is too much, which you're probably going to do too much the first couple times, but if you give it a try, it really, you won't do your eyeshadow without doing the lower lash line anymore. And so that's that, you guys. Just your bronzer and your one brush, the blender side and the packer denser side. You can use two brushes, but I just like to use one because it's easy and I know I can just flip right back and forth. But since I feel like my lashes are getting a little sparse, I'm going to do some mascara today, which I don't normally do with my lash extensions, but these guys have kind of been annoying me these past couple days, and so I'm just going to do it and not answer to anyone about it because I'm allowed to do what I want to do. Oh my gosh. Guys, that's what I get for being sassy. Seriously? Okay, here's another tip we can talk about. If you get your mascara on you unintentionally, not where you want it, just continue going about your business. Don't worry, we will fix it. So what you have to do, hey Missy, is let this mascara dry all the way completely. I know it's hard because you want to wipe it away right away, but don't do it because it will ruin everything. Even yesterday, it'll ruin yesterday for you. Seriously, don't even do it. Just let it dry completely. And then take a cotton swab, ear swab, the thing you clean your ear with, ear wax, the ear cleaner. What do you call those? Whatever. Take your ear cleaner and just wipe it right away. And if it's completely dry, it'll just come right off. But if it's not dry all the way, it'll start to smear. So don't get too antsy. Let that thing dry. Hey, Kaylin. But I'm going to go ahead and finish my lashes while I'm letting that dry. Q-tip. Yes, Paris. Thank you. A Q-tip. What is wrong with me, honestly? Just get these lower lashes just a little bit. Cute. Q-tip. Guys, get yourself a Q-tip. After it dries all the way, though. Don't get crazy. Bada bing, bada boom. This is our daytime appropriate eyeshadow look with no eyeshadow. If you were going to try to intensify this to a nighttime look, get you your other side of the brush, your packer denser brush, load you more up on some of that bronzer, and get right there at your lash base and a little bit more color into the crease, and you're golden. Good luck, guys. Bye.